Join us now then on this trip through history to see what's happened to the 38th over those 25 years. Here we have our 1982 camp at Horner Wood, near Minehead. The map shows us where it is in relation to other things. It's a site without any basic facilities. It's really just a field with a stream running through it and woodlands around it. It's sort of right on the edge of Exmoor. So we went off on a hike which took us towards Selworthy village and Selworthy beacon that overlook the Bristol Channel. This is a Selworthy village is a particularly noted place with beautiful thatched cottages, and then we went up onto the top of Selworthy beacon, where the weather turned a little bit inclement. That's Selworthy beacon there, and rain and mist, but then of course we're on the edge of Exmoor and sometimes this does happen. And then we're descending from there. That's the North Devon coastline there that we can see. Lots of heather and then to the wooded area surrounding the campsite. There's a tendency to slip off when you're wearing waterproofs. And here we are descending back down towards the campsite, Alliford, where there's a packhorse bridge and a ford. This is about 2 miles from the campsite. And collecting wood. And again there's a steam railway that runs from Minehead along the coast, and this was our trip out on it. We got to watch it and got off the train there and went down to the coast. Of course, water and pebbles equals throwing things and searching for things. Some crabs there. This was the crossing over the line that we had to wait until the train had gone past to navigate. And then we get back on the train and travel back along the coast towards Minehead. Here we are, back to Minehead. And then a trip out to Dunster, a little village to the east of Minehead, with a castle. I think this is the stream that goes sort of through the campsite. Well, you're supposed to keep water out, but not if you fill them up. And kebabs. Steve Taylor. Klein, there's Norris. Ian Norris. There's Matthew Day, took it into his kebab. And then twists. A favourite Scout cooking exercise. Basically just a flour and water mix wrapped around a green twig and put into the fire. And then usually something like jam added to it. Here we are making so it looks like a miniature raft to float down the stream. Little plastic tubes, and well, we'll soon see whether these work any better than the large scale versions that the Scouts sit on. At least they won't have to put up with lots of weight on them. It's a question of whether they'll stay stable enough to float down. Yeah, this one looks as though it's doing fairly well. Still going. It's almost reached the bridge, which was basically the edge of the campsite. Getting a little encouragement there, I think. And then to some pioneering. We've constructed a big tower with a rope and stave ladder to get up there. Yes, we've got the Exmoor Stag on the badge on the t-shirt. And then we just down the road from where we were camping was this horse riding centre, and so I think we had about 6 horses, and so we had to do it in a couple of stages, and the horses went up through past where we were camping, up into the hills. There's Matthew Sewell. This is the bridge where we saw the little miniature craft floating down the stream, going under there, and then from that point our campsite starts. So we're going up the track to the side of it. Of course, the horses knew exactly where they were going, so people looked as though they were riding them as such. But and while they're out, the rest are having some activities. A game of football is always something that fills in the time. You couldn't kick it too hard, otherwise it would end up in the stream. I think here we were actually playing some other scouts, because there's faces on here I don't recognise. I think there was another scout troop further up the valley. Difficult to see what that is, but Caleb been carried off somewhere. And here we have breakfast time. Here we have a modern version of sedan chairs. Some of the chairs that we'd taken from the chapel, lashed to 2 spars, and people therefore being able to be transported around. So ideal for a competition, this. They did get rather heavy after a while. That was the entrance to the site. People getting rather tired by the look of it. And then a race down or up the stream through the water. That's how shallow it was. That's the bridge that we just saw the horses going over. Ooh, that must have hurt. then a sisal trail. You can take people through all sorts of nasty situations when they're blindfolded and they don't know what's coming next. Down slippery slopes. They probably wouldn't worry if they could see where they're going, but blindfolded they've no idea what's coming next. Whether it's a bunch of stinging nettles or a slippery slope or what. So the little one's been given a hand by Keith. Quite an unnerving experience if you don't know where you're going. And then off we go on a hike. This time up to the top of onto Exmoor. It was the horses basically that came up about that far. Ants everywhere. A stop for a break in a little clearing. Then off we go up the stream path again. Exmoor goes up much higher than this eventually, but and here we are now at Porlock Weir, I think this is. Oh yes, there's a sign. And looks like we're off mackerel fishing. We didn't actually do enough research really, because the owner of the boat told us that this is not a good time for mackerel, and consequently I think we managed to catch 2 or 3, as you can see there, and that was supposed to feed the entire camp for their dinner, and so we had to resort to finding a fishmonger and actually buying some fish. It was a bit rough in places, and there were a few who went a bit of a funny green colour, but despite all their efforts we didn't add to our stock of fish very much. And the ones we did catch were pretty small. Hardly a meal. Anyway, here we are back at camp with a dead man's crawl across the stream. At least if you fall in, you're only going to get about 6 inches of water on you, but it was part of a competition for everybody to get round a course. Well, that really is cheating. Vern Klein, I think that was. And there's Richard Aitchison. that's how to get over the stream the difficult way, but still pretty fast. I think that's Ian, isn't it? Ian Norris, yes. Very competitive. Quite a strenuous assault course. And then we went to Butlins for the day, and basically everybody was under the direction of their patrol leader, free to do what they wanted for the day, and that gave the leaders a bit of a break as well. This is a sort of monorail that goes all around the site, from which you can see the whole of the place. And then everybody fancied their hand at snooker. I think they'd seen too much on the telly and thought it was easy. Some of the more adventurous ones went on some of the wilder rides. I think there was Debbie Day there. There's Matthew and Helen. Again, that went all around the site as well. And then the Scout Zone on coming up towards the end of the camp. I think it's a bank holiday Sunday. It was near enough this time to have visitors, which we did particularly on the bank holiday weekend. And here we are off on a hike on the Sunday afternoon. This is a very isolated church. I think there is a church there that was actually mentioned in Doomsday Book. So some of these buildings really are very old. And now we're down on the coast. This has got to be in the region of Porlock Weir. And another rope bridge. The secret of these is to make sure that the handrail is firm enough, otherwise people can do somersaults. We're gathering now for the ceremony to bring the camp to its conclusion. And that brings our camp at Porlock to a conclusion. First of all the equipment, and then passengers going in cars back to Bristol.